Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode of Glass Half Full, a podcast and a safe platform where we talk with a variety of teachers, entrepreneurs, spiritualists, uplifters, givers, shakers, and serenaders. Everyone has a lesson to learn and a lesson to share. Let's use our life experiences to enrich someone's heart, mind, spirit, and soul. Through sharing our experiences, we can be a learning inspiration for one another. I'm your host, Chris Levens. Let's welcome today's guest. Today's guest is Dr. Orazie Slayton Cook. Dr. Orazie Cook, the compassionate driving force behind Praline's Backyard Foundation. Orazie's journey is marked by a steadfast commitment to creating safer environments for domestic violence survivors and their beloved pets. With a rich background in public health and a heart deeply rooted in animal welfare, she's a visionary advocate who's reshaping how we support those in crisis. Her work not only breaks barriers, but also builds bridges of hope and healing, underscoring the profound bond between humans and animals. Let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Orazie Cook. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am good, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking.
you.
Oh, thank you so much for taking some time out to be a guest here on Glass Half Full. We're happy to have you today.
Thank you.
Can you tell everyone where you are in the world and what time it is?
I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and it is 7:45 Eastern time in the morning.
Wow.
So that's where I am in the world.
I hope that it's a nice day out. Is the weather good?
Well, it's not cold, but it's cool. And it's kind of dreary out right now, but it's okay. I woke up, so it's all good.
Hey, okay, another day above ground. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. We're going to jump right on in. I like to ask all my guests this first question. I believe that our lives are in spiritual design. Can you share your life layout or blueprint with everyone? How you grew up, where, your family lifestyle?
Oh, definitely. Let's see. I grew up in Atlanta. I am a Atlanta native, which is rare if you ever visit here. I was called a Grady baby because it's like the hospital here. I went to school. I became a Seventh-day Adventist in my middle school years, which led me to become vegetarian and to observe the Sabbath and do some other life choices. And then I went on to attend Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama. It's a Seventh-day Adventist institution. And it was there that I was first introduced to, well, not first, but it's where I got to have insight on the resources available to domestic violence survivors. And I worked at a hotline while I was in undergrad. I went on from there to grad school. And then I worked at I volunteered at a domestic violence shelter while I was in grad school. And then I went on to, while I was there, I was introduced to the idea that survivors would go back to be with their abuser, not to be with their abuser, but to be with their pet because they left their pet behind with their abuser. And I didn't have context for that then. And then I went on, I continued volunteering. And later on, I volunteered with the Atlanta Humane Society up until COVID. And then I would see something similar happen where survivors would come and relinquish ownership of their pet because they were going into a housing situation that did not allow for pets. Again, that's the responsible thing to do. But if you don't want to do that with your pet, there has to be another option. And so in the midst of COVID and assessing my life choices, and I should have said, I also have a 20-year career in public health.
Oh, wow.
And so
okay. That's huge.
I also had a job in there while I was volunteering. And I also have a doctorate in public health, and I currently work for the federal government in public health, and then full-time. And then I also have the foundation I created in response to really having the experience I had at the domestic violence shelter and the Atlanta Humane Society. It was like, there has to be a better solution to this in terms of a survivor is struggling to leave, and they leave and they go back to be with their pet, not because they want to be with their abuser. There has to be a better way. And
Mm-hmm.
so hence I just decided, how can I work in partnership with other people to assist with housing pets and survivors? And so I just started reaching out. I started sharing my story. People kept giving me ideas, and Praline's Backyard Foundation was born out of the insight of a lot of people on social media telling me like, oh, you should do this. You should do this. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And it was just, that's how my life unfolded. Had you told me 5 years ago that I would be leading an organization like Praline's Backyard or having my own business, I would have said, no, that's okay. I'm just going to ride this whole federal government job out and continue on with life. But it definitely, my life path has definitely come to a place where it's like, I can see 20 years ago, just being around pets and being around animals most of my life, it's like, this is where I belong, more than anything else.
Oh, now, did you grow up with pets? Did you have some growing up?
Oh, definitely. My family's from Tuskegee, Alabama, home of Tuskegee University. And so I have vets in my family. We grew up with every type of vet you can think, I mean, every type of pet you can think of, excuse me. But in my home, we had always had a Cocker Spaniel. I'm on my 4th Cocker Spaniel, which is Praline, who the foundation is named after.
Oh, wow.
I
I was going to
always
ask you
had
what
Cocker
that's.
Spaniels growing up.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. I was going to ask you about the name of the foundation, so you beat me to it. Okay. So, okay. Wow. So you had always had dogs.
Yes, I always had dogs. Yes.
Okay. And now only dogs as well?
I only have a dog now. I only have Praline. Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
And so with this, you're seeing a variety of pets, am I correct?
Oh yeah, we'll service any survivor with any pet. I had a horse a couple months ago.
What?
So we have, well, mostly it's cats and dogs. I'm sorry, I had a bird maybe a month ago, a parrot, which is cool because I've never had that. And so it's always like trying to investigate places to foster pets, different pets, I'll say exotic pets.
Mhm.
But we are able to work in partnership with organizations that do rescue work with different kinds of pets, because as we know, as people begin to adopt different pets into their home, there's always a rescue group that aligns with that pet. Like I even had a horse sanctuary reach out to me last week, and they're partnering with us. So
Wow.
so definitely, yeah.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. It was nothing that I even considered was about the pet. Domestic violence is domestic violence. But, I never thought about the animal and the relationship that they would have with their owner, who is now no longer going to be there for some reason. Or maybe they
Yeah.
have been around the whole time watching. Well, they have been there watching this go
Yeah.
down. And yeah, this is huge. It was something that I was really so surprised about. And I was like, I don't think many people have even thought too deeply about this. So I am really impressed that you have started this organization and have really jumped on the bandwagon for thinking for the pet. So that is so awesome. That is awesome.
Oh,
So how long has
thank
the
you.
foundation been going, did you say?
Well, technically the foundation would have come on a year now. Actually, I should look at the date of the approval of a letter from the IRS, but because initially it wasn't about having a nonprofit. I have a dog walking business as well here in Atlanta, and my thing was always I wanted to grow and I wanted to have an actual physical building. And so in the process of wanting that building, I also wanted to house pets of survivors, which is because I live here in Atlanta. That's what I wanted to do. But as things unfolded, I wasn't able to build a building or to buy a building. And then I thought, well, I can still help survivors, but let me work in partnership with established pet boarding facilities. So that's how that started. And so it wasn't, my intention was never to build a nonprofit. My intention was just to house pets of survivors, right? It was just something
Okay.
I wanted to do as part of my business. But through counsel, and I'll say again, because I mentioned it on social media and people really ran with it. They said, oh, you should get a nonprofit because you'll get support that way. And so that's how that unfolded. So it was never, so it kind of just aligned in that way. And so I created the nonprofit and the foundation as a result of that. So it's been a year, but I've been doing this work for years. So a year technically, but the books say so. You know what I mean?
Okay, for
So
that. Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. So what is the general mission and vision of Praline's Backyard?
you went out on me for a second. Say that one more time.
Oh, no problem. Can you share with us the mission and vision of Praline's Backyard Foundation?
The mission is that no survivor will stay with an abuser out of lack of housing for their pet. Our vision is to make sure every survivor is empowered with the information, the knowledge to know that they can leave their abuser and they can bring their pet with them so they can seek safety and their pet will be safe as well.
And so you're taking in as well as the victim and their pet.
Oh no, we work in partnership with domestic violence shelters that do not accommodate pets, and with persons who are fleeing a domestic violence situation who need housing for their pet.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
I don't
Okay.
provide housing to any survivor. We provide housing to their pets,
Okay. It's only just the animals.
just the animals.
Okay. That's enough, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, but because there are other resources, there are lots of resources for survivors themselves. What we're lacking in the States is we're lacking housing for pets. And so I tell people all the time that survivors are very resilient and awesome individuals who may know they're ready to leave, but what they lack is resources when they do leave.
This is
And so
so
what I'm
true.
doing is providing resources for their pets. There's one they need a number of resources, but one resource we want to be able to provide them is housing for their pet.
Hmm. Nice. Yeah, that you're right. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so, is this something that's happening in other places in the world? Are you aware if this is something that's happening other places, or and the United States is kind of behind, or is this
Um,
something that is,
I
please
think
go ahead.
it's pretty overall. I know Canada. I've talked to people in Canada and in the UK. In similar situations, there's not enough housing for pets. People don't know it as an issue. People don't recognize it as a barrier. But immediately, I think a lot of it has to do with the lack of awareness. And the reason why I'm even on your podcast is really to help raise awareness of the issue. Because I think if more people knew about it, more resources could be created to house pets with survivors. Because whenever I told anyone, they're like, it's like most people that don't know, they don't work in animal welfare, they don't work with domestic violence, persons that are affected by domestic violence, they have no idea, they never thought of it. But once you tell them, survivors have challenges with leaving, and one challenge is the lack of housing for their pet. And people immediately understand that because people understand the concept of their children, right? And so people
Mhm.
understand the fact that they may not have the financial aspect to be able to move from your house to a new house, like however that takes, right? That's a financial impact on a person. So it's like people say that, it's an aha moment. It's like people realize
Yeah.
it. So if more people knew about it, we could have better resources. So my whole thing is to educate 10 million people about this barrier, and that represents the 10 million people who experience domestic violence each year in this country. And also I'll add, that's the documented cases of domestic violence. We recognize that not all cases are documented. So we know the
Mm.
number is much larger than the 10 million. But I want to educate 10 million, and that 10 million can educate another 10 million.
You're right about that. You're right about that. Wow, I didn't to hear that number is like shocking. My mouth dropped, but no one can see it. But like, wow, that is a number. That is a
Yeah.
number. And you're right, the ones that we don't even know about. My
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of those. So, wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is an eye opener, and I'm happy that you're here, and that we can use this platform to educate people because I was shocked by this. I was like, I've never heard this. And then I was asking people, they were like, I've never heard anything like that before.
Yeah.
And if people love animals and they love pets, and a lot of people love their pets more than they love people. So it's like, it's full on. So yeah, the idea of this is it can totally grow and to be huge, definitely. I think that it's a great opportunity, definitely. So really nice, really nice. Let me ask you, what do you think are the main challenges you face trying to find housing? Is it the finances? Is it the space? Is it you spoke about the resources, but what is the actual resource? Is it finance or is it space or something else?
Well, I tell people all the time, pet boarding facilities, pet daycares, that is a booming industry. It's like $1 billion industry that goes up every year. So pet housing is not an issue, right? What's an issue is money to house pets of
Okay.
survivors. I was on a live last night with Red Rover, another organization. And we talked about the fact that the foundation will pay for 7 days of housing for a survivor's pet, and we work in partnership with pet boarding facilities across the US. And that partnership can look like the boarding facility can provide free housing, they can provide discounted housing for the survivor's pet. But pet boarding is expensive. And so the money is what's lacking.
Can you give
And
us an
so it's
idea of
also,
like, sorry, go
say
ahead.
it again.
I was asking, could you give us an idea of like what is expensive? What are these prices like?
Oh yeah, definitely. The gamut for pet boarding is $40 to $60 a night, and that
Mm,
goes up based upon you have the most people, you take your dog to board, your pet to board, and you bring your own food. But in some cases, survivors don't have food to bring to the boarding facility. So you have to pay for every day's food allowance for a dog or a cat or whatever the situation is. So
mm.
it goes up. I've actually paid. I had a survivor in California, and we were paying like $80 a night, and we ended up paying for that pet for like 2 weeks because we were trying to find a foster and took a little longer than normal. And so it's just like those costs add up. And so additionally, what I ran into in the beginning, which I did not foresee, which I plan for now, and that is a lot of people do not have their pets up to date on their vaccinations. I cannot
Uh-oh.
place a pet into a pet boarding facility or with a pet foster unless that pet is up to date on its vaccinations. So that's an issue that that's an expense I did not plan for, but one that we are planning for now. But it's an expense. Housing pets of survivors is definitely an expense, and so that's why I really like to work in partnership with pet boarding facilities to house survivors' pets, whether that's, again, like I said, free boarding, discounted boarding. And we also do social media shout outs to boarding facilities that provide us discounted rates or free housing for pets as well. Because definitely it's a community building idea in the sense of like, these pet boarding facilities exist in these communities. Why not also give back to the people in your community? And that includes domestic violence survivors who are going through a moment of crisis that need housing for their pet.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, definitely. Definitely. So the vaccination, when you said that, so you had to pay to have the animal vaccinated first,
Yes,
which was
we did.
like a aha surprise.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I have my pets vaccinated. I've always have, but I know people sometimes sometimes people are not up to date. They forget or
I
they
know a
don't have
lot
to
of
be.
people who are not up to date. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. It's not, they're
yeah.
just not on top of it
So,
for whatever reason might be. But wow,
yeah.
that's like shocking to hear that you would have to pay yourself to have it done when you're already helping. It just seems a little like oxymoron. Like, okay,
Oh yeah,
but
but think about it. I mean, I can't not provide the boarding. Like, so it's like I have to provide the boarding. They need to be vaccinated, and so and then I had a case early
so
on.
who vaccinates the dog? Who vaccinates the animals? Where does this
I
happen?
will identify a reduced cost vet clinic in the area, and the survivor would take them there. Like we had
Okay, I
a
was about to
local
say, is
humane
there
society. A
some?
lot of places do low cost clinics, and so
Okay,
that's
because I
always
was
our
like, is
first
there a
option.
compromise? Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Like, are we compromising with something to get in, so people aren't paying a lot? Because that's a surprise. And I'm sure that's not cheap. What's the cost of a vaccination? Do you know?
Vaccinations for annual vaccinations probably 100 to 150 on average.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
Because
my
that's
gosh. I was,
Bordetella.
woo.
That's the Bordetella. It's a 3-in-1. I can't think of the name of it at the moment, but essentially rabies, and there's another one that takes up like 3 diseases in one shot. But yeah,
Oh my
it gets
gosh.
expensive. Yeah.
I would have never thought these costs. And I mean, granted, you're speaking someone who does not have any pets. I would like to have one, but my owner says no. So where I live, so
Oh,
um,
okay.
yeah. So the pet that I want, I can't get. So if it lives underwater,
What
I
do you
can get
want?
it. I would like a dog. A
Oh,
Jack
okay.
Russell Terrier is my heart, where my heart lies. But yeah, the owner
It
says no.
should move.
So I know it's true. When it's time, that's what's going to happen for the next place. So I'm just biding the time. I feel it's just not time yet. That's all. It's not
Okay.
time yet.
Gotcha.
Uh, I wanted to ask you, do you have any success stories that you can share? Maybe where your foundation made an impact on a survivor and their pet?
Oh, definitely. I would say every day we have an impact just by raising awareness and providing housing to a survivor's pet. Just to pick out one, I'll say that, and I'll pick out this one just because the pet foster was so awesome in this story. We
Yes,
had a
tell us. Tell
survivor.
us.
Say it again.
I said yes. Please tell us.
Oh, yes. So I had a survivor who had 2 cats. So what happens when a survivor reaches out to us and they're ready for housing of their pet? We'll arrange the pet boarding at a facility. The survivor takes the pet to that facility, and then the pet foster will pick up that pet from that facility. So in this particular case, we had a pet foster pick up these two cats from the facility, and she kept them for 6 months. And our max amount for a foster to house a pet is 6 months, because we feel like 6 months is adequate enough time for the survivor to get adjusted, to provide safe, stable, and pet friendly housing. And so the foster had the cats for 6 months. And then and she worked at a cat sanctuary as her normal employment every day. And so she had all kinds of cool cat domes and different houses for the cats and different activities she would do with the cats. And what I always ask fosters to do is send me pictures of the cats and how they're doing, and so I can send that to the survivor. And she would always send awesome pictures and video of the cat that I could send to the survivor. And she was just so thankful for that. And then in the end, when the foster took the cats back to the pet boarding facility for the survivor to pick them up, she created a whole basket for the survivor that include all kind of cool cat toys and a gift card to really help the survivor. And so it just really spoke to my belief and my encouragement that many hands make light work. This is someone I've never met. I've never met either one of them, but I've engaged with both of them. And this foster felt so impressed for somebody she didn't even know to give back and to invest her time, energy, and her money to give the survivor something as she returned her cats back to her. And so it's just a beautiful story of community and supporting one another, because I believe that many hands make light work, and we all join in to help people in need. It makes the lift so much lighter.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. What a great story. You're right. Yeah, and you're right, definitely all working together to achieve that goal. I love it. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
So looking into the future, where do you see your foundation going or doing? What are your goals or your hopes?
Well, for 2024, my goal is to establish a mobile app that could be on anyone's phone, where a foster could log into that app, a survivor could log into that app, a pet boarding facility could log into that app, and the app would house training materials as well to train our fosters and our pet boarding facilities on housing pets that have coming out of trauma. And what I want the app to do is be a hub for everyone to connect. For example, a survivor would log into the app and say, I need housing for my pet. I'm in this city, this town. And then the pet foster and the pet boarding facility in that particular town would get the alert, and they could answer the call to that alert and say, I'm available to foster, I'm available to house this pet immediately. And then it makes that connection so succinctly, because right now I'm doing all the connecting through the assistance of Duber.com. Let me definitely give them a shout out. Because but right now we're doing that in a more wide open space, but doing it within a confined app. It'll provide better security. It'll provide just more ease of use for the survivor. And it'll allow everyone to be a part of the solution. It allows them to see, like, immediately say, oh, well, that's a survivor. They'll continue to see alerts as people request assistance. And they may not answer the alert every time, but as you continue to be made aware that a survivor needs housing, then you're more apt to say, I'm available for that housing. Mm-hmm. And so that's why, and I want to be able to train fosters and pet boarding facilities on the unique challenges that may come with housing a pet coming out of a traumatic situation, just to be sensitive. Just like if you adopted a pet from a humane society, you don't know what kind of background they had, so just being sensitive to that as well.
Nice.
So that's my goal, is to create an app in 2024. That's my goal. So if you're out there and you hear this and you're an app person and you want to help us, please connect.
Yes, look, all the information will be there. Yes. And this is it, right? Just putting it out there. And you know that there are people who are. This is it. It's just getting to them, just reaching them. Folks are like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. Like,
yeah, definitely.
So awesome. Awesome. That's great. Well, we're looking forward to that app. Definitely. We're looking forward to that app. So changing a little bit from the foundation, I want to talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me, how do you keep good mental health dealing in a world where things are a little dark, maybe darker than others in the type of work that you're dealing with and the effects of that? How do you maintain that you are in a great mental state while you're working and when you're not working? What do you do?
Let's see. First of all, I believe in God, and I believe that no weapon formed against me will prosper. I believe that he is not giving me anything that I cannot handle. And also believe in therapy. I have a therapist. I believe in debriefing.
You are hilarious. Why you try to
Um,
take me there? Why you try to take me there? You're all around and you're like, and therapy. Yes, girl. Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
I'm an advocate of therapy. I think there is great power in it, a great release. And so I promote it. So I have that therapist, and just to really let go of that, because it can be very because when I hear these stories, it obviously there are moments when I have to be calm, not calm, I have to be relaxed when I cannot be emotional when someone tells
This
me
is
their
it.
story, but
Yes.
I'm heartbreaking at the same time. So I have to remove myself in a safe space to be able to really help this person. I can't be all emotional the way they are in the moment, even though it can be very traumatizing what they're experiencing. So really, I have to take that back to therapy to really have that breakdown situation. And then I struggle with when I have survivors who really are not in a place to leave mentally. And so it's like I have to just be patient with them, and that patience takes a level of therapy for me, because I can't push my desire for you to leave a violent situation. You have to leave it when you're ready. And so to hear someone's story and to know they're just struggling. And so that's a lot to take on. And so in addition to therapy, I also believe in self-care. I believe in massage. Actually, I have one planned this weekend because I had a hard 2 weeks. And then I scuba dive as a form of relaxation. I love the water. I love marine life. I love seeing the beauty of God's creation underwater, because so many of us don't get to see it. And just to see the color and just the magnificence of this world is amazing. So that's me.
Nice. I like the array of things that we have from that you touched upon. There are many different things. Good. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, who is around you that keeps you motivated? Is there someone that you I'm sure that you might have some fellowshipping friends or church friends that might be there around, but who's around? Who helps keep you motivated?
I would say my mom and my best friend.
Oh,
My
shout out for mom. We love
Oh
mom.
yeah, definitely. My mom is probably one of the reason why I'm in this work in a way, because she's always been such a giving spirit, and just like so that's probably definitely, while she's giving me that, and she's always encouraging me, and she's always believed in me to know that I can do this, and she's always just been my number one cheerleader. And then my best friend, he's always gives me the reality check, and at the same time encouraging me. He always shows up for me when he can't show up. He's always like, "How did it go?" Like I had a live last night, and he had a therapy session. He couldn't be on my live, and he was like, "How?" Immediately after he finished his therapy session, he called me and said, "How did it go?" And I was just like, I just appreciate him so much for just being interested in encouraging me through this process.
Oh, nice. That's so awesome. What's his name?
Joseph. Yep.
All right. Give that shout out to Joseph. Yes. Look, we all need a best friend.
Oh, definitely. A best friend that encourages you and then is your reality check,
This is it, right? This is
Yeah.
it. Before you go to the outside world, they say, hey, that looks crazy. Or you know what? You're about to make a fool of yourself. Stop it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So,
Yeah. And then give you a hug and say it's okay.
yes, this is it. And let's go get something to eat. And keep it moving. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. So can you tell us, what are 5 things you would say to describe yourself?
5 things I would say. I would say that, like I said, because of my mother, I'm a compassionate person. I just really desire people to live the life that they want to live, and I want to be able to help them to live it however way that I can. And in the midst of building a foundation, which I never intended to be, I would say now that I'm a leader, and I didn't intend to be that. I would never have thought this in my life 5 years ago, like I said. So I've become a leader as well in this process to really highlight the barriers survivors of domestic violence experience. And so I guess I'm leading the charge to do that.
Okay.
And at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, my goal is to educate 10 million people about this barrier that survivors with pets experience. And so I've become an educator. And then because I believe in partnership with people, different businesses, pet fosters, and different groups to help better serve survivors and their pets, I've become a community builder in the sense of building community. Because like I said earlier, many hands make light work. I cannot do this all. Please join me in this effort wherever you are in the world. There's a survivor and their pet that needs you. And I believe that I came into this work, and I think in an innovative way, in the sense of, like, I tell people there is no pet boarding facilities are not booked up, right? There's space in a pet boarding facility. I don't need to build a facility. Let's house pets within existing facilities, and let's work in partnership with people who already love animals and they want to foster them. So let's do something innovative. And so I'll say I'm an innovator in the sense of using resources that already exist. I've worked in public health, like I mentioned earlier, and I've traveled the world, and I'm thankful that I've been able to do that. But I always hate when we bring people in from the US to go build a house and build a building or build some roads or wherever I'll say in Kazakhstan. Like, really, there are people in this country that can build this road. So how can we use the resource we already have? And so I'll say that I believe in innovation and serving people in need.
All right,
So
now.
I'm an innovator. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got compassionate, we have leader, educator, community builder, and innovator. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Excellent. These are powerful words, doctor.
Well, it's not because I never planned. Like I told you, I would never thought this of myself, but because of these situations and the introduction and just working in this work, I have become these things. And I can look back over my life, and I can see how I was being equipped with the tools to be these things like 20 years ago. And now it's coming to fruition, in a sense. I'm blossoming about that.
And you know what? And it's in the time that you were ready to receive it. It was in the time when you were ready to accept it and take on that charge, regardless if you thought you were not or not. You know, in that spiritual design of things, like you were saying, you were already in the place of learning all of this without ever knowing. I love it. I love it when it happens like that. Oh man, so exciting. You know what I mean? You're like, I've been ready. I'm ready. Oh, really? I've been getting ready.
Definitely.
So awesome. So awesome. That's great. That's great. I did want to ask about safety and well-being. How do you ensure safety and well-being for the pets when they're under your care?
My physical care, like in terms of my business, or in terms of a survivor's pet?
Both.
Okay. Well, in terms of my business, I only do one-on-one services, not only do dogs, and I have a team of 3 people, excuse me. And so we do dog walks, pet sitting, and all that. So in terms of safety, I believe in training. All of my staff are CPR first aid certified, and I'm fear-free certified, which means I believe in eliminating fear, anxiety, and stress in any interaction with a pet. And
so wait, I'm sorry. Can you break that down? Did you say you're fear certified? What was it?
Fear-free certified? It's a certification
I've
in
never
pet
heard
handling.
Of that.
Say it again.
Yes, can you break it down for us?
Oh, yes. Fear-free certified means that I believe in fear, anxiety, and stress-free interactions for dogs. For example, there's some training and some philosophies which inflict pain or inflict aversive tactics for dogs. And so I believe in giving dogs a choice and motivating them to create the behavior I want. That's through treats, that's through hugs, whatever motivates the pet, that's what I need to do. For example, if I gave a shot of insulin this morning to a pet. And so it's like, how can I relax them? And so how can I relax them and get them prepared for what I'm about to do? And so I gave them treats, let them relax, and then you give insulin, and it was done. They didn't even, they were ready to receive. Instead of like how you force, you may not know, but how you force pets to receive medication, or you force them to do something, it's like you get a better response when you do it gently and you let them know what you're doing. And so that's what kind of supports free anxiety and stress. You want to not have those 3 things when you interact with a pet, because it just makes it really, that's when you get bit, really. So that's what you don't want to happen. Or you get scratched, or you get something negative happens. So definitely if you use a non-invasive and more nurturing way to encounter a pet.
Wow,
as for a survivor, say it again.
I said that makes sense. I mean, it's just like we would do like a child, anyone else. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so with the survivor's pet, how we ensure safety is the fact that the survivor, the foster never meet each other. They never even know each other's name. The only mutual interaction is the pet. The survivor drops the pet off at a pet boarding facility. The owner or the manager of that facility may know the situation in regards to this is a pet of a survivor. But other than that, there is no interaction with there's no interaction to say this person is a survivor, this person is a foster. They just somebody else picking up the pet. And so that's how I maintain security and safety for the foster and for the survivor.
Wow, that's really interesting. I would have, so it's like a real, like the adoption when they go for kids, like
Oh
they
yeah,
don't know who they're going to and all that. So that's, I mean, the people, no one's rolling up at anybody's house, you know,
correct.
being
No
like,
one,
I wanted
none
to
of that's
pet my
happening
dog.
at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
Oh, that's really good. That's smart. That's smart. These
Yeah.
little details, I tell you, it's like, wow, you
Yeah.
guys have thought of everything. I love it. And here in Japan, the animals are a little more high esteemed in care compared to us as in America. They have dog hotels and it's like they have the luxury life, the animals here. It's totally different.
Oh,
Um,
it's like that now. You've been away for a while, but definitely like it's a booming business here in the U.S. It's pet boarding facilities, everything. Like it's the whole thing. And right now we have a
oh,
respiratory
really?
infection that's spreading. But yeah, it's like one down the street from my house. They built it in the midst of COVID, and it's like booked up all the time. So
Wow.
yeah, it's a huge. It's like maybe a 20,000 square foot facility.
Wow. Are you in
So
collaboration with
it's a
them?
booming business here.
Are you in collaboration with the place down the street?
No, I'm actually not. It's a franchise location, and I've tried to get in with franchises, but they have not. They've not been able to. They've not answered the call. I'll say that.
Do you
So, but
know
I'm definitely open to it. So, if you're a franchise pet boarding facility that's head of the franchise, please reach out
why do
because
you
like the
think that
people
they're
that own the
not
franchise, they necessarily can't make independent decisions from the overarching organization.
why do you think that they're not on board?
Again, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you because I
It's
can't.
such a
I've reached
positive
out to
thing.
all of
It's so
them,
so
and maybe
weird.
I need to reach out again more consistently. But again, that takes time, and I'm kind of like a one person show. I have
No,
a
I mean, I get
number
it.
of
You're doing a lot.
volunteers,
It just seems
so
strange, right? You feel like, why wouldn't they be on board, But yeah, I get it.
yeah.
You know. Well, hey, they can watch the TED Talk and catch it, then they
Oh
can
yeah,
catch.
actually, I thought about I should do a TED talk. I actually thought about that. I hadn't thought about
Yeah,
that. I
you
love
should.
TED talks, right? And
Yes,
so
you
I
should.
think I should do a TED talk.
Yes. Look, now when it
Yeah,
happened, you make sure
yeah,
we remember like we were on glass half full when it had come to fruition that we decided
yes,
like, yes, it is happening. But yes, you should. This is a huge when people hear this, they're all the compassion. I don't even have an animal. So only imagine when anyone who has one to feel
yeah,
like, oh my gosh. So that's a lot of people. So I feel like
yeah.
this is going to
That
be
is. It's
huge.
like 1 in 3 people has a pet. So
Yeah,
1 in 3
this is
households, rather. Yes. So yeah,
definitely this will be something that will continue to grow for you for sure. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me ask you this. Do you
okay.
feel that you're living in the now of life?
I am. I'm living in. Yeah, I am. Yes, I am. I feel that more than ever because I felt like for a long time I was probably living the life I was told to live, or the
Mm,
life that was expected of me to live. But now I'm living in the now for me, and that's a beautiful and a resting feeling. So, yep.
I love it. I love it. Can you tell us, so how do you know that you're living in the now?
Because I'm doing what I want to do. I'm that's what I'm because I'm doing what I want to do and I'm being present in it. I'm welcoming the moment. I'm enjoying the space. Like taking this moment as we're talking right now, and just really even just thinking about it, like just enjoying this moment. I'm
Mhm.
looking at my window and it started to rain, and I love my view of my house from my window in my office, and it's like this is my life, and I love it, and
I
I
love
created
it.
it. Yeah. So
Yes. Awesome. What a great answer. And yeah, you're right. Being present, just being, here trying to do what we need to do, be grateful. And yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. So I like to close with this last question to all my guests. Is
okay,
your glass half empty or half full?
it's half full.
Hmm,
It's half
nice.
full. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Good question, as I expected. Yes. So, yeah.
Awesome. No wrong answer ever at all. No wrong answer for sure. Can you tell everyone any final thoughts for our listeners?
I would say I would encourage all of you, everyone can be an advocate. If you can't donate, you can definitely share, like, and follow Praline's Backyard on all the social media platforms. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, YouTube. Definitely follow us. Like our content, share it. Your interaction is means volumes to the algorithms, and it helps us educate more people. Our goal is to educate 10 million people, and then if 10 million people are compelled to give, they will give. I believe that. I never have to ask people to donate, because if you're compelled to give and you care about you have an interest in housing pets and survivors, you will give. And so, but definitely everyone can follow, like, and share our content to help us educate. So definitely do that. I appreciate it. And if you're a survivor of domestic violence and you're experiencing in a crisis right now, definitely, and if you have a pet, definitely reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and definitely see how we can help you in the housing of your pet.
Awesome. Awesome. We love that. We love that. And can you tell everyone how they can reach you if they want to find out more about the organization and any information?
Definitely. You can reach us by email at info at pralinesbackyardfoundation.org. Praline is spelled PRALINES, backyardfoundation.org. Also, our website is pralinesbackyardfoundation.org. And it's Praline's Backyard on all the social media platforms. And my name is Orazie, so if you just Google me, you'll find me. I'm the only one.
I love it. Isn't that cool to be the only one?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Orazie, for coming in and just sharing with us about this amazing work that you're doing, and that, you have really found this niche that we are like, huh? Everybody's having these aha moments about. And I am so glad that, you have been blessed with this assignment. And we just want to encourage you to keep going, and that the resources will be there, girl. They will be there. Things are going to be coming in, and this is just the beginning. You have just started the iceberg of this adventure for you. So I'm so excited. And we thank you so much for giving us so much information just about the pets, about your business, about the things that are going on. And from this, we can give this information out. So we thank you. And we thank you for being a guest today on Glass Half Full.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Thank you for helping me educate 10 million people.
Yes, I'm down. I'm down for sure. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day. Hello, listeners of Glass Half Full. Thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of our podcast. I'm your host, Chris Levens, and I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for being a part of our supportive community. Remember, Glass Half Full is not just a podcast. It's a safe platform for everyone to share their life experiences. Your stories and voices matter, and we appreciate you for being here with us. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay updated with our future content, please subscribe, follow, and rate this podcast on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us reach even more listeners who can benefit from these valuable life experiences. As we wrap up this episode, always keep in mind, you are blessed. No matter the challenges you face, there's a reservoir of strength within you. Until next time, stay positive. And remember, the glass is always half full. See ya!